Hello everybody. This is Natstrap Nevlix. Sorry for the late start. Had some stuff come up this morning, but here we are. The big surprise, the what comes after Expedition 33 is a Souls series run through. Go ahead and throw together the look of the character that I usually make in Dark Souls. You know, I stand out because I try to actually make a character. Oh, wrong one. I want the wrong part. Speed run through what I normally do here. The Dark Souls 1's character sliders are really weird. Because a lot of the times I can go through this process and it creates a similar looking character. Unlike in other Souls games where it makes like an exact character, it never really feels that way with this. Always feels a little bit like, it's because the sliders affect other sliders, and I don't think that should be the way it works. No, that should be what we go for. Now, we're gonna take the Master Key, even though I tend to like taking the Old Witch's Key, but the Old Witch's Ring, I only really like taking because of the lore implications. And as is implied by the thumbnail, we're going to be doing a Faith build this time around. Faith has always been my go-to build type in the Souls series. Yeah, cleric, not cleric, but faith builds have always been my bread and butter in the Souls games. I started with Dark Souls 2, and as will become apparent throughout this Dark Souls, this Souls trilogy run through, I'm a big Dark Souls 2 buff. But yeah, Faith has always been my go-to build, but I realized recently, and this is sort of what inspired this playthrough, I've always told my friends that my first playthrough of every Souls game has been a Faith build. And that was true in Dark Souls 2. I did start with a Faith build in Dark Souls 2. That was true in Dark Souls 1. My first time running through was on a Faith build. But, I didn't do Shadow of the Erdtree with a Faith build. You guys got to see me livestream my first run of that. So I actually don't know what any of the incantations from the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC do. And I've also never played through Dark Souls 3 with a Faith build. On top of that, my last playthroughs of Dark Souls 1 and 2 with Faith builds were 2014? 2015? So I felt like it would be a nice way for me to go back to my roots here. No, I'll go with, Sorry, I immediately went to my usual go-to name. Yeah, let's get into this. Dark Souls 1 is a bit more interesting with Faith builds.
In the age of ancients.
I'm gonna assume that people have seen the Dark Souls stuff. I'm not gonna be super lore-focused on this playthrough. We are under a bit more of a time schedule than usual today, so this will probably be a shorter stream. But Saturday and Sunday should be about the same. But I am curious how much we can get done right now. What time is it right now? Got another 2 hours that we can go. Should I try and... Is it easier to punch him? Does punching do more damage? They do the same damage. Does punching consume less stamina? I haven't fought him without my weapon in a long time. Heavy. Okay, heavies do same damage. In that case, I think the punch has a shorter animation lock. So... I am interested in trying to beat him barehanded. I wasn't going to because I thought the time constraints we were under was a bit heavier than I thought it was, but I think we got plenty of time to make some progress and beat the booty. Ooh. It's kind of nice to be back. I always end up going back to these games, but I had to take a long break after level 1 No Cestus. Or level 1 Cestus only. Why the fuck did I say level 1 No Cestus? How am I gonna beat Dark Souls 1 if I can't use the Cestus? Yeah, after level 1 Cestus only, that took a lot out of me. I went into that expecting, because I'd heard people say Dark Souls 1 is on the easier side to do at level 1. I did not, and I was like, oh, okay, if it's on the easier side at level 1, I'll try to add more challenge to it. Only Cestus. And, yeah, that was a mistake. The Cestus in Dark Souls 1 is way worse than I ever anticipated it would be. It does, like, no damage. I am super proud of getting through 4 Kings with that, though. I know the run isn't like a, I guess it's not perfect, because early on I forgot how strong Pyromancy was, and was like, alright, I will allow myself to use Pyromancy for a little bit. That's why later on in the run, I stopped using it, because I realized Dark Souls 1 at level 1 plus Pyromancy kind of negates a lot of the challenge of challenge runs. Because Pyromancy is really strong without any leveling required. If I were to redo that, I would probably remove all the Pyromancy portions of it, but I was just kind of happy to be through with it. 4 Kings destroyed me. The boss run back to that fight is rough. Especially when you arrive and just instantly die. I didn't think I'd be able to get through the DPS check, especially since, I forgot that when they shoot the purple beam at you, you have to just face tank it. Like, I thought I was doing something wrong, so I was looking up, like, how do you deal with that move? And people were like, oh, just hold up a shield and block it. And I was like, alright, yeah, but how do I dodge it? And they were like, oh, I mean, you kinda... There is ways, technically, to dodge it, but it's very, like, inconsistent. And so a lot of it boiled down to, you know... Is this the lucky run? I guess the other part that was killer to me was, grinding out red Titanite chunks for the Chaos version of the Cestus. Because Chaos was my best. Chaos and Lightning were my best choices for damage. And I'd run the numbers on it, and it seemed good to A, either have both, or B, just have Chaos, because Chaos was going to do more damage so long as I could keep 10 Humanity. My problem was assuming that I'd be able to keep 10 Humanity at all times, and also underestimating... I didn't look up before the run how you get red Titanite chunks. And honestly, if I were to do that run with no Pyromancy involved, I probably would have just gone with the lightning weapon, because I don't think I could have grinded out the red Titanite chunks without using Poison Mist. I proved to myself that I have the patience and persistence to go through that, because I stayed up very late many a night grinding out red Titanite chunks when I could have been doing something infinitely more enjoyable than killing the like, poorly designed worm enemies. Yeah, it was nice to play through it not too long ago, with, like, a regular build. And as I was doing that, I was like... Nah, it's been a long time since you've, you know, gone back to your roots. And after throwing around so much lightning in Expedition 33, I figured I'd go back and see how throwing around lightning in the Souls series feels. What I am excited for is seeing how the power of it grows, because I know that Dark Souls 1 has the second weakest faith in the Souls series, I think. My assumption is that Elden Ring is going to have the strongest faith. And then after that, it's literally just going to go... Dark Souls 1 has weaker than Dark Souls 2, which is weaker than Dark Souls 3. Unless I could find a way to unpatch Dark Souls 2, in which case I know Dark Souls 2 wins, because I got to play Dark Souls 2 before they patched the lightning spears. And those things were actual, like, one-shot machines. So I'm excited to see how Faith ends up feeling in that game, because I know of the reputation that it has had, and I know that it got nerfed, but I don't know how bad the nerfs were, you know? He put himself in a bad situation for me. And I recently played through most of Dark Souls 2, so it's gonna take me a sec to readapt to Dark Souls 1 mechanics. I'm already getting used to not locking on again. He's putting himself in awful positions for me. I'm gonna run back and let him come towards me a little bit. There we go. Now we can get back to swiggity swooty punching the booty. That Cestus video is the first time that I punched the Asylum Demon to death, though, because that was my first challenge run. I thought that he was going to be a lot harder to punch to death than he was. I should not be saying that right now while I'm doing it. I'm going to jinx myself so hard. I've already eaten 2 hits. I got him to turn around more. So I have some challenge run ideas, or like interesting different run ideas for Expedition 33. I don't know if I'll stream them, but when I do them at some point, I know that I will definitely record them. Most of them, I mean, the main ones that come to mind is No Lumina, you know, Expedition 34 Plus. See if the game is doable without the Lumina converter. I'm not crazy enough to attempt the run I had in my brain of an Expedition 60 run after reading that, where you just use, like, base weapons. Just base weapons and no Pictos or Lumina. Parry only and no parry are ones that sound interesting to me. I have seen a lot of no parry runs being posted online though, so I might hold off on that. I think what sounds more interesting to me at this moment is solo runs. Can I beat the game CL only, Mael only, Minoko only? Which is doable because of New Game Plus. And there we go. We don't have Well, What Is It yet, so down. Then we get the Demon's Great Hammer, which we will not be using this run because in this game, in Dark Souls 2 and 3, I think, well, I know in Dark Souls 2, it reduces the requirement to wield a weapon by half. And if I recall correctly, in this game, it reduces the requirements. I mean, it raises your strength by 1.5 times. Yeah, so a 40 requirement would require 27 strength. So a 46 would require 30? Yeah, 30. 30 or 30, somewhere between 30 and 32. I'm not sure how it rounds. We will talk to Andre, because I can't kill him.
Thank goodness. I'm done for. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I were both undead. Hear me out, will you? Regrettably, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family.
Thou who art undead art chosen. Rescue us from the undead asylum. Maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou bringest the bell of awakening, fate of the undead thou shalt know.
Now you know. Oh, and Estes. Oh.
F2 East key.
Now I would hate to.
F2 East key. I don't remember you getting that if you. Oh, fuck. I do like that the attack animations in this game are different. I don't think that came up again. I don't know. I know a lot about Dark Souls 1, and I know a lot about Dark Souls 2, and I know a lot about Elden Ring, because I played a lot of those 3 games. I also have, I think I have the most hours on Bloodborne and Dark Souls 2. Not on PC, because I was a console gamer for the longest time. But, and obviously, Bloodborne. I wish I could be a Bloodborne PC fan, bro. Sadly, Sony seems to be, like, allergic to money or something, so... It hasn't happened yet. So does the F2 East key open up this door? I'm so much better at parrying in this game than in Dark Souls 2, though. This game has the easiest parries. F2 East key, but it's locked. Ah. What door does this open? Oh, alright, it's the door behind the boulder. Never mind. Oh yeah, because the thing that he gave me that was extra was the Big Pilgrim's key. Because normally you get that from the Big Pilgrim, but if you kill him early... I like that you can still hear the footsteps of the... I think it's the Stray Demon down there. It's neat. The soul of a lost undead. Be on our way.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one...
So, for faith weapons, there's the Astora Straight Sword, the Crescent Axe, Dragon Slayer Spear, Grant, and the Artorias weapons, but the Artorias weapons aren't what we're looking for. Artorias weapons want you to have an interesting build where you build around the Artorias weapons, because they want you to have decent stats in everything. I don't remember if you have to talk to him to progress his questline stuff, but we will. This leads us to the Black Firebomb. We will go get the first faith weapon we can get first, before we do anything else, which is the Astora Straight Sword. I don't remember if it's good. You have different dialogue if you're a cleric or a knight.
Hello, I realized, but I also want you to hear. No.
Yeah, token of peace.
Oh, I have. So what would?
Yeah, I would like to learn some miracles.
Very well.
Already belong to this company.
Now,
Okay. Learn gesture. We're gonna want force. I think that's all. We're gonna want force.
Come again.
What are our starting stats? What is the Astora? I want to say the Astora Straight Sword is like a 12, 12, 14. 10, 10, 14. Okay. Well, then all we need to be able to wield it is this. We'll go ahead and get this out of the way. Apart from that, apart from the weapons that naturally scale with faith, we also can make divine weapons to get faith scaling with some other weapons. I think the main ones that we're going to be keeping an eye out to make divine is, like Claymore's Y-hander sort of thing. I'm not sure how well the Uchi Katana infuses, but we might give that a spin as well. What I do know is that we're going to want our faith at 50, our vitality and endurance at 40, our attunement at something, and our strength and dex at, like, the minimum requirements we need. Why am I running this way? Oh, for this. That's stuck. Yeah, that's another... I knew there was a reason I was headed this way. That's another weapon that we can possibly use infused, is the stock. There's nothing that's important from this guy down here, right? Yeah, Rickard. Rickard, you don't sell anything important, do you?
Come back soon.
This is why we get the master key. Because without the master key, you are stuck until post-Blighttown with no faith weapon. I don't know how good the Astora Straight Sword is, however. So... Crescent Axe requires you to ring the bells of awakening, I think. Right? Yeah, because you need patches. Oh, no, it doesn't. Alright, patches drops it if you kill him. Okay, it's time for a let's go gambling moment, because I don't remember which of these has the sword. So, I picked the right one. Cool. It's worth the death. Alright, cool. we have our Astora Straight Sword. High quality weapon with a powerful blessing. Considered a divine weapon, and gets decent scaling in faith. This will be our starting weapon. Apart from that, we will be looking to join the Warriors of Sunlight. Obviously, because you know, the main offensive faith miracles in most of these games come from the Warriors of Sunlight. Ooh, not good. Okay, for a starting weapon, this damage doesn't seem too bad. Seems pretty good, actually. I mean, what's the AR here? 174 when earlier we were doing 100. That's a pretty big jump. We also get a bit more wiggle room right now because we have 15 heals. We should be able to use all the miracles in this game. Actually, there's one. There's a couple of areas where we're gonna have to make a choice. Sunlight Spear, I will probably just do a demonstration of once we finish this run, because they made a decision in this game that I think they realized probably wasn't the best decision, and that's locking Sunlight Spear behind New Game Plus. Because you have to kill Gwen to get Sunlight Spear. As such, I don't have much experience with Sunlight Spear, but I also would rather do a playthrough of Dark Souls 1 with Faith build on stream than do one off stream and then do a New Game Plus run with the exact same build with no progression or routing really necessary. Just to demonstrate Sunlight Spear. In advance, sorry if my routing isn't perfect. Despite the fact that I had thought about this and I had planned, like, hey, when we are done with Expedition 33, because we're coming near the end, we're going to play Dark Souls 1 with a Faith run. Despite that, I did not actually route out this run super well. So... You know, welcome to Natstrap Nevlix. Get used to scuff. That's really smooth. A lot smoother than my last sorcery run was. We just have a lot more damage right now. I don't know, is this... I'm curious if this weapon is considered like a good weapon or a bad weapon. And if it's a bad weapon, it has to be one of those weapons that falls off, I guess. Did not mean to say the sentence fall off, I guess. It happens. I was gonna say we should have gotten the binoculars so that I could do ranged damage, but I realized I don't have access to ranged damage because I'm not playing a sorcerer. Yeah, I've always been a fan of magic in the Souls games. I've utilized pyromancy in most of my runs. I don't remember if there's anything we want from you. I will take the soapstone because I do like to leave messages. Resident key, that's one of the things. Are any of these worth grabbing? thought he sold a... Oh, he does sell a bow. Okay. I was gonna say, I could have sworn he sold a bow. What's the Y-hander requirements? Present axe is 8 and 12. The Y-hander is 16, 14? 16, 14 if you're only two-handing it. But I don't mind two-handing. I guess I could also use the claymore instead of the Y-hander, which has a 16-10, yeah. So we'll pick up a bow. Wood arrows. Yes.
Thank you, Kai.
Bow is mainly to deal with the dragon. Unless I'm remembering wrong, but that's always a risk we take, you know? Throwing knives. Luckily, we get a range damage increase once we actually get our lightning spears, but I know you need to join the Children of Sunlight Covenant, but and that requires 25 faith, but is there any other requirement, or sorry, lightning spear. I meant to look up lightning spear. Gift upon joining the Warriors of Sunlight. Warriors of Sunlight just require a requirement of 25 faith, which is decreased by 5 for each boss you help kill as a phantom. Okay. So after this, yeah, now that we have the base requirements for this, our next objective is to dump a lot of points into faith. But I should at least light this one. There's a dude down there, he just has a wooden shield. Now we'll go ahead and rest. Reset the AI. Okay, buddy. Disasters are gone after the defeat of the Grave Lords. You know, I'm surprised by how active the PvP is in this game. And even more surprised by how active the PvP is in Dark Souls 2. Like I said, I ran through Dark Souls 1 and most of Dark Souls 2 not too long ago. Technically, my Dark Souls 2 run isn't done, but all I have left is DLC stuff. But you know, the fact that I've consistently had Gravelord servants and invasions happen is surprising. I thought the invasion PvP stuff was mostly dead. That shows how much I know. Bro, what? I've never had this happen. Oh my god. I thought I was actually just dead there. I do like the wiggle room that having heal gives me. The only other thing is that for the Warriors of Sunlight, to get Great Lightning Spear, we need 10 Sunlight Medals. I suppose I could try and see, you know, how active cooperation is. But I also should check, like, what enemies drop Sunlight Spears. Not Sunlight Spears. Enemies dropping Sunlight Spears? No, what enemies drop, Sunlight Medals. I also know that we get Sunlight Medals for having Solaire assist us with a boss fight, which means that we also will be summoning Solaire when we can. I'm not as good at parrying in Dark Souls 2, but I do think I like the sound effect that parrying makes in Dark Souls 2 a lot better. Fun little story here. This is where I got invaded on my last playthrough. This was my first invasion when I realized that invasions were still fairly common in Dark Souls 1. Focus, try to get backstab. Backstab. I do get parries. There we go. Dang, that's good damage. Yeah, picked up this blue tearstone ring here, and then I got the message that I'd been invaded because I was in human form. And funnily enough, I've been having a good time when I get invaded trying to hide and seek people. Because I stood here. Now, is this a good spot to be if somebody who's better at the game than me is invading me? No. No, I have nowhere to run, and there's a good chance that I'm going to panic roll and try to end up throwing myself off a cliff. But apparently, they tried to jump down at me and just fell all the way down. One of the funnier invasions that I've had. I'm going to try to do jump tech. I've never been good at it, but we'll try. Yeah, no. I don't know why people do that. Can somebody explain the jump to me? Oh, we can also go fight Havel the Rock. Get our Havel's ring so that we can fast roll. Even with heavier gear. Yeah, I know the only other decision that we're going to have to make in the run between miracles is if we want Sunlight Blade or Dark Moon Blade, because you can't get both of them. Well, practically you can get both of them, it's just you can't use both of them in the same run. Because Guinevere needs to be alive, or Gwendolyn needs to be alive, and Guinevere needs to be alive for you to use Sunlight Spear. Do you get more damage out of two-handing on backstabs? 107. I don't remember what we got last time, but I know we were getting 59 from the back, so. Okay, you do get more damage out of two-handing. Oh. The last time I played Dark Souls 3 was probably 2017. I remember when Dark Souls 3 came out, I was like world's #1 Dark Souls 3 hater. I don't remember. I'm really excited to play through it again. And I think my first time playing through it again with this Faith build will be on stream. But I'm excited for that because that one will probably be a lot slower than the Dark Souls 1 and 2 runs because I'm less familiar with the game. I've only done like 1.5, maybe 2 playthroughs of Dark Souls 3 because something about it I really didn't like. And now that I'm older and I, hopefully am a little wiser, I think that I was just having like a teenage hipster moment, in all honesty, where I was like, oh, everybody else likes Dark Souls 3, well, I hate Dark Souls 3. So I'm excited to see if my opinion changes when I run through it again. I kind of hope it does. I'm also excited to see how the miracles in that game are different. Because I remember I went into it planning on doing a Faith build because that was my go-to. And I ended up getting the Abyss Watcher's weapons, and when I'm going for this build, I want to use the Abyss Watcher's sword. And then I got the Artorias sword, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play Artorias this run. Plunging attack tech. But we don't do bad damage just smacking him either. And my main tip for anybody playing Dark Souls 1 for the first time is that the lock-on button is your enemy. The lock-on in the rest of the series is really good, but the fact that it limits you to 4-way directional rolling is really bad. So I play Dark Souls 1 with the lock-on mainly to just readjust. Is his tail cuttable? Oh, is he gonna... I've never had him do that! I've seen so many people have him jump off the fucking bridge, and I've never got that. Oh my god, I'm so glad I got that on stream. Oh my god. I've never in my life got him to do that, despite how many times I've tried, because I thought it would be cool. Oh, I really want to learn how to do that consistently, because I love doing goofy shit like that to beat bosses. Now we talk to Solaire. And don't worry, we are not going to kill him for his drip.
Ah, hello. You don't look hollow, far from it. Now that I am undead, I have come to this great land, the birthplace of Lord Gwyn, to seek my very own son. Do you find that strange? Well, you should. No need to hide your...
I love Solaire.
Oh, aha. So I didn't scare you.
Is this voice actor done anything else? You know, while we're listening to him, I'm gonna check his voice actor out because I want to know.
With hollows, could that really be mere chance? So what do you say? Why not help one another on this lonely journey?
Yeah.
This pleases me greatly. Well then, take this.
Daniel Flynn also voices Vamos the Blacksmith and the Giant Blacksmith in the same game. Damn.
We are amidst strange. The flow of time itself is convoluted, with heroes centuries old phasing in and out. The very fabric wavers, and relations shift. And
Targray in Dark Souls 2?
longer your world and mine will remain in contact. But use this. summon one another as spirits, cross the gaps between
Anything
worlds,
else that really
and engage in
sticks
purely
out to me?
Of course, we are not the only ones engaged in this, but if you miss it... Oh, the sun is a
Like wondrous body, like a magnificent father.
If only I could be so grossly incandescent.
That is what we are going to be doing this round. Alright. Now's the time to see if I make it across the bridge. Please don't hit me. 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 I actually made it. I don't normally make it across the bridge if I'm being honest. Well, I do make it without dying here. It's just normally I get hit by the Now we do this. Last thing is to edge over here. And eventually he's going to jump down, and then we just sprint to the other side. And hope that he doesn't use his bullshit fire breath. We also do want the claymore. He used it in the opposite direction. Oh my god. Please don't, 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 please don't. Okay, I think we're safe now. Eventually he's just gonna piss off. Okay, I was gonna say, does he have a thing where he comes over here and attacks you? Oh my god, scared me bad. And I hope the hint that I gave was understandable to some degree. Faith, anybody who knows Dark Souls, faith equals lightning. By the end of Expedition 33, everybody had a lightning and fire-centric build. So... Is the AR with this higher when I'm... No. Let's pop our souls. We're gonna dump as many levels as we can into faith in order to try and get to 25. Not mean to only do 2 there. We'll see how high we can get now. 25, cool. Right, the altar shine sunlight. And gesture. Technically, the other miracle that we can get that's offensive that requires a covenant is the Gravelord dance, I think. I tested that in my sorcery run by using the catalyst, the Velkus talisman, that allows miracles to scale off of intelligence. Personally, I didn't think it was that good. Yeah. Does the Gravelord's sword scale with faith at all? No faith scaling. Okay, so it would literally just be the dance. Yeah, but mostly it mostly just has use in PvP. And if we need an AoE, then Firestorm is almost always going to be better, I think. So I'm not going to worry about that. And we're just going to join the Warriors of Sunlight. The Lightning Spear now. Ah. Only takes 1 slot, so for attunement, I think just 1 more gives us another slot. Yeah. Nice. This early on, and we can already chuck lightning spears at people. How much does Great Lightning Spear require? I know it requires 10 sunlight metals, but I just want us to make sure we have enough faith for it. Speedrun that and then get our other stats figured out. 30? Okay. 30 is fine. I don't think there's any other offensive ones. Wrath of the Gods, yeah. That's 28. Emit Force. That's way later on. Sunlight Blade and Dark Moon Blade is 30. I think we're gonna go for Sunlight Spear just because or not Sunlight Spear, Sunlight Blade, because that doesn't require us to leave the Covenant. How much damage are we getting off of this right now? Pretty good. Oh, I'm surprised we didn't get knocked out of that. Fun fact about Dark Souls 1, enemies can interrupt your bonfire sitting animation. Ooh, not good. That hitbox is a little janky. Okay, you're not coming after me. Now you are. I'm gonna come down here. They'll follow us, right? Yeah. Let's go to a more open area, Greatsword boy. I thought he went the other way. I didn't realize he was just walking slow with his shield up. Dang! Crazy good damage. That was more than a backstab or a parry two-handed with our strongest weapon. Our main issue is that we're limited on casts. Means we need to be a bit careful about, you know, who we utilize. It's unlike in Dark Souls 2, where we have the ability to use, onto you, please? How much damage does this do to you? Oh my god! Dude, rushing to 25 faith to get Lightning Spear? Some crazy work early game. I don't think that's a guaranteed drop. 19 divided by 73.5 leaves us with 25. Let's see, is this mid-roll now? Yeah, it's mid-roll. I think we should be fast roll if no? Okay. scroll. Okay, it just took a sec. Don't think we'll see much use of Grant. I don't know if it's worth the investment. Or maybe. I don't need to build around like a PvP meta level or anything like that, so... I have to remind myself that I am not required to stop leveling at a certain point. I tend to make myself do that because I'm like, oh, I don't want to over-level myself, but, you know, for the fun of the run, why not? I don't necessarily tend to stick around and do a lot of PvP after I finish the game, I've noticed. Sunlight Spear! It's not a Sunlight Spear, but, you know. Is similar. Yeah, it definitely puts us above. Surprised they didn't add percentages as a quality of life feature when this game came out. Ooh, forgot that that counts as unblocking. Luckily, we don't have to cut into our Estus because Faith Heal. It's so nice. Dang! This has been going a lot smoother than I expected it to. I remember starting out Faith in Dark Souls 1 being kind of rough. I saw online that I got to throw lightning bolts at people if I went Faith, and so I was like, oh, okay, I'll do Faith. On my first complete playthrough of Dark Souls, let me get that clear. The first time I played Dark Souls, I only really knew of RPGs as, like, Bethesda games. And I grew up largely just playing, like, my main action games that I played a lot of Sly Cooper, I played a lot of Metal Gear Solid. And for some reason, when I played Sly Cooper... Let me get a stretch in real quick, I'll keep talking, though. While I was playing Sly Cooper... I would take the thief thing, like, really seriously. Like, any mission I could do without getting spotted, I wanted to do without getting spotted. I wanted to be the Thievius Raccoonius. So... I got used to playing everything like a stealth game, whenever it would, like, even remotely let me. And I saw Dark Souls 1 at, like, a bargain bin at GameStop. It was, like, on sale. It was, like, a pre-owned copy. Not a bargain bin, but you guys know what I mean. It was on sale. It was not full price. It was in, like, a discount section. And so, I went to it, went, ooh, I like games like this, and picked it up because, you know, it was cheap. I could afford it. And I didn't get games very often. That was sort of during the era where I felt like most of the time if you went to a store, like PS2, Xbox era, I felt like most of the time if I went into a store and bought a game, it was going to be at least decent, and it was going to be complete. Maybe that's nostalgia, maybe I'm looking back with rose-tinted glasses, and there was a lot more shitters than I remember there being. But, you know, that's my, that's my boomer, it's my old gamer take. I say old gamer, I'm like, not that old. Oh, I actually do want to rest because we want to get Solaire with this fight so that we can start making Sunlight Medallion progress. I'm gonna pause on this tangent, I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick, we'll be right back. Alright, and hey, we're back. Oh. Yeah, but, what I was saying was, I had tried to play through Dark Souls 1 a while before I actually played through it. Dark Souls 1 was my first experience with a Souls game. I list Dark Souls 2 as my first because Dark Souls 2 was the first time I got into a Souls game. I don't know what convinced me to buy Dark Souls 2 after I played Dark Souls 1, because like I said, I'd only really played Bethesda games as RPGs. And apart from that, most of my video game experience was Kingdom Hearts, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, Metal Gear Solid. What does the Claymore require? 16? Okay. Yeah, that was most of my experience with games, was Sly Cooper, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Metal Gear Solid, and my only real RPG experience at that point was Bethesda games, because my PlayStation... Oh, and Crash Bandicoot. But my PlayStation had broken, and my family had gotten enough money that they got me an Xbox for Christmas. And I was super thankful, because I was so sad that our PlayStation 2 broke. And, yeah, so when I got Dark Souls 1, this is gonna sound goofy, this always is a goofy thing about me. I booted it up, and I saw the Thief class. And I think some of you know where I'm going with this, but I saw the Thief class, and I went, oh, he's the sneaky guy. There's a sneaky guy in this game, he's the thief, of course he's sneaky. And then I got to the Undead Asylum, and I was wandering around, like you do in Dark Souls 1. And I kept reading the tutorial stuff, and I kept waiting for the game to tell me, like, here's how you sneak. Here's the sneak button. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and there was no sneak button. And I remember, you know, young teenager, like, probably like, maybe 12 or something year old me, was like, why is there a thief class if I can't sneak around? And so I googled, I was like, I have to be missing something. People said this game doesn't tell you everything. So the game just hasn't told me how to sneak yet. That's gonna come later. And I played a little bit more, and I never got a sneak tutorial. And then I googled it, and I was like, I literally googled, how do you stealth? How do you sneak in Dark Souls 1? And the internet was like, you know, and completely honest, they were like, the most sneaking you can do in this game is doing this. Behind an enemy and then landing a backstab before they turn around. But apart from that, it's a combat, it's an action game. It's not a stealth game. And that irked me. I was not a happy camper. I was like, so you're telling me... Which was funny, because when I saw the case, I don't think I went into it initially thinking stealth game. But I saw that it listed itself as an RPG on the back of the case, and I was like, oh, so like Skyrim. And then I saw the thief class, and I think my brain was just like, RPG, thief, that's my sneaky boy. And after I learned I couldn't sneak around, I was really peeved, and I decided that I didn't like Dark Souls. Now, I was upset because I wasted my money, but I got it, like, I remember it being, like, for real cheap, so I wasn't too upset. And I went back to playing my other games. And then a few years later, Dark Souls 2 came out. And I saw the trailers for it. And I found a YouTube channel. I should check out if they're still around after stream today. But they were called Gay for Games, GHEYFORGAMES, Gay for Games. I don't remember what the reasoning behind the name was, or if gay spelt that way means something different, and there's like a joke behind it, but a lot of Dark Souls 2. And I was like, this game looks really neat. I really like how this game looks. So I decided I was going to pick up Dark Souls 2, so I saved up my money, helped out my dad with a lot of stuff, and eventually I managed to get Dark Souls 2. And I played through it, and I think because I went into it with the right expectations and I was a little bit older, I really liked it. I was like world's biggest Dark Souls 2 fan. Which meant that when the hate for Dark Souls 2 really, when I went online and realized that there was a lot of hate for Dark Souls 2, I just came to the conclusion that, like, oh, Dark Souls 1 isn't for me, but Dark Souls 2 is. And so it took me a while to go back and try Dark Souls 1, but eventually, after I'd played through Dark Souls 2, like, a bajillion times, I went, oh, okay, I will give Dark Souls 1 a try. And I gave it another try with my faith build, because I heard that I knew from Dark Souls 2 that that's how you throw the lightning spears. Because you play as a faith guy. And then I ended up liking Dark Souls 1. I didn't end up liking it as much as I liked Dark Souls 2. But, that may have just been because of, how busted lightning spears were pre-nerf Dark Souls 2. I mean, from that point on, I've been a pretty big fan of the series. Yeah, it took me a while to get into it because little me really wanted this to be a stealth game, and I learned there was no stealth in my RPG. And I was like, oh, that's stupid. RPG is supposed to let you choose how to play the game, but I can't choose to sneak? But I learned because, while I do have a love for stealth, I also like action games. And, I really do think the lightning spears won me over. I like lightning effects in any game. As I've gotten older, I understand the lore implications behind why lightning looks the way it does in this game. But the older I get, the more the fact that the lightning in a lot of these games is yellow and not blue or purple is like a pet peeve of mine. Which is, it's goofy and it's kind of dumb, and I will fully admit that. Is it silly that I want the lightning to be blue or purple? Yes, but does that change the fact that I want the lightning to be blue or purple? No. I think I can thank Infamous for that, because Infamous sort of solidified that in my brain. I'd like to try and find a way to stream Infamous at some point. Because I really like Infamous. I shouldn't go fight him. I should go get my lightning spears back before I fight him. The Chancellor. Especially since I can check and see if you can aim lightning spears with the binoculars. Binoculars are an item in this game. Like I said, Dark Souls 2 brained right now. That's my silly childhood Dark Souls story. That's how I got into Dark Souls. Let's just get the minimum requirements for everything, and then we can start leveling Faith, Attunement, Vitality, Endurance. Check what time it is. Yeah, I still got a good hour or so to go, so we can at least get the gargoyles done. Am I stupid? Is this not a thing you can do in this game? I think I made that. Oh, no, you can lock onto him. I know he doesn't respawn, so I don't mind using most of my lightning spear stock on him. One shot! That's gonna be our biggest issue throughout this run, is, Lightning Spear has a big cast time. And the only way to raise cast time in this game is to level Dex. But as far as I remember, it's not super noticeable until about 40 Dex. If I'm being honest, I don't really care to get that much Dex. Go ahead and drink your flask. Got one more run back, and we'll make sure to be human this time, and then we fight the gargoyles. Do a tail cut, because I like to cut the tail, and then we'll see how powerful a lightning spear is. It's really nice just kind of sitting here playing a game I'm familiar with and yapping with y'all. Oh wait, I forgot to go human. God damn it. One more run for real. I was too caught up in being sentimental. But that's just who I am. Where's hollowing? Oh, another funny thing is that I brought up, I guess I kind of came full circle. I guess I kind of realized this now because in my, in my last playthrough of Dark Souls 1, whenever I'd get invaded, I'd try to scout out what the dude was wearing in order to make sure I wasn't getting hit with a twink build. And whenever I did see a build that looked twinky, you know, I just realized how weird that sounds if you're not familiar with Dark Souls terminology. I hope I'm using that term right. After this, I'm gonna Google it to make sure that I'm not saying the wrong thing. Yeah, he's dead. Alright, hold on. Alright, yeah. I was right. Twink builds, that's what they're called. Essentially, it's just going late game. You're doing a low-level run, but you purposefully go and get strong late-game stuff while keeping yourself as a low a level as possible, in order to do crazy damage at low levels and invade people at low levels and fuck them up. But I know some of the telltale signs of Twink builds. I think one of the most obvious ones is a Manus, not a Manus Catalyst. Yeah, Manus Catalyst. If you are, you know, like level 19 like I am and in the Undead Burg, and somebody comes charging at you with the Crown of Dusk and a Manus Catalyst, you know that, hey, this person has either killed Manus or they had somebody else do it and drop it for them. And B, that they probably have Darkbead too, and that their goal is going to be to run up on you and cast Darkbead at you. Which will one-shot you. That shit's one-shottable at high level. So I learned to sneak my way through those situations, which created a lot of funny hide and seek, not hide and sneak situations.
I truly appreciate.
Check's free. This has been super good. We made way more progress in this last hour than I thought we were going to make. I'm no Souls speedrunner, so, you know. I know that this isn't like a speedrun time, but this is way more productive than I usually am when I play a Souls game. Though I tend to take it slow and listen to all the dialogue and remember the lore and stuff like that. We will be doing that with Dark Souls 3, so when we get to Dark Souls 3, I apologize in advance if it becomes a much more, like, slower, relaxed run. Yeah, Night Solaire, come with me. I need the sunlight metal. There we go, we got the tail. How strong is this? Yeah. Oh! Bye, Solaire. That's a hard boss fight or anything, just impressed by how much damage we pumped out there. Okay, well maybe my list will be in a different order because at least early on, Faith is really good early on in Dark Souls 1 if you know what you're doing. But I feel like that's the caveat. You have to know what you're doing. Like, if you don't know to speedrun 25 Faith... And to be honest, I wouldn't blame anybody for not speedrunning 25 Faith, because if you don't have Master Key and you don't go to that one area, you're going to be looking at all your weapons like, if I want to do damage, I shouldn't level Faith. Karmic Justice. It doesn't really matter. Velka's Talisman is bad for us. I don't want to buy Birching Stones unless I have to. We're all good, yeah. I will get well, what is it, though? Now we have our boss slaying emote. Actually, let's do it like this. So we have this. I love the Dark Souls 1 emotes. Stay down. Eh. And then our praise the sun. Ah. I think we're gonna need a lot of Twinkling Titanite. Outside of making our weapons divine. Actually, we should make that an objective now. Let's go get the Divine Ember. $16 Zweihander. Oh, is Zweihander worth it for a faith build, or should I just stick with Claymore? Um, yeah, Grant requires 50 strength, so... I don't know, how much does the falchion require? Because that should be good with Sunlight Blade once we get it. 13? I think these should be fine stats, yeah. Because Zweihander requires 14, no, right? Zweihander requires 10. Oh, still. Okay, that should be all of that we need. So I think Claymore for a non-buffed option. Crescent Axe or a straight sword for another good non-buffed option, and then probably the falchion for Sunlight Blade. Yeah, it is Twinkling Titanite. I don't think we want to dump too much investment in it. We will put investment in our Claymore. I think the Crescent Axe is likely going to be better. Let's see who's better at throwing lightning, buddy. It's like I'm the superior faith. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit before we can get a weapon buff, because they don't have, like, lightning weapon and then sunlight as separate things you get throughout the game, as far as I know. As far as I remember, the only miracle weapon buffs are Dark Moonblade, Sunlight Blade. In the meantime, I'm gonna want us to get a divine weapon. Let's get this bonfire, because I can't guarantee that this is going to be just a easy waltz through. That scared me. The ghosts in this game are just like straight up like slightly transparent people. So when they show up, they kind of do jump scare me. Yeah, the only reason I could see us going to 14 is if we wanted the Uchigatana. Is the Iato? Does Iato require more than that? Iato requires 20. Does Uchigatana only require 14? I mean, I see no reason not to just grab the requirement for the, you know, the purpose of just open. This opens up the most doors for us. And since I'm not, like, hard stuck on a weapon, I'm willing to give them all their fair shake. I like how dedicated to the bit these guys are. They watch me slay... That one's just gonna watch me slay both of them. Dedication! Each of them went, alright, he might have seen the other one, but he did not see me. Alright, she saw 1 and 2, but she did not see me. Big whoop, buddy. I actually saw all 3. These fake trees are such a weird enemy in this game to me. Because they only show up here, and it actually has no attacks. But it gives you souls. I didn't even think it gave you souls. I don't know, I like the little areas like this are like a highlight of Dark Souls 2 to me. Like these guys are, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but these guys are genuinely only down here. They drop green blossoms for some reason, and they're around these moving trees. Why does the tree move? And again, if memory serves right, they don't respawn. 200 to... Yeah, this weapon, I remember... I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll probably do some more research into the numbers, but my memory says... This weapon's an early game wonder. It's like the Drake sword, where it's like, it'll do really good early game, but it's gonna fall off. Yeah, another fun fact about these guys, there's no water near here, but if you lure them to water, they get new parts of their moveset that use the fact that they are water-related creatures to spit, like, poisonous water at you. But it's just like, there's like no water down here. So why? Oh, no. Alright. Okay, that's alright. Can you hit them while they're getting up? No. Ah. You're not hitting me with that. Oh! Oh! Oh, I forgot it's a radius around them. Damn. Double kill, though. Looking at how long it's going to take us to get back there, I think we are going to call it here for today. Thank you all for tuning in. We made way more progress than I thought we'd make day one, especially since I only had, like, yeah, about an hour and a half to do the stream. But yeah, we will be back on Saturday? Double check my schedule. Yeah, we will be back on Saturday and Sunday with more Dark Souls 1. That's the big surprise announcement. I hope you guys enjoy the Soulsborne, or not Soulsborne, but the Souls trilogy plus Elden Ring probably Faith playthrough that we have planned. But more than that, I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Damn, full ore string drip with the Uchi Katana? Man. See ya. Do I have the wave? Do I have the wave yet? Yeah. Bye!